Now that's the way to start out this recruiting special. What's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ. And Denzel Knox, our first 4-star recruit that's interested in our school. And you look at him, he is the number 8 running back in the nation and 151 ranked prospect in the entire nation. He is our highest rated guy on our board. And with that, we got to get started with this recruiting special. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So I want to quickly go over the top players in the nation here. And look at this. I mean, 7 of the top 10 guys are all athletes. That is amazing. But let's talk about recruiting restrictions. And I do like to add recruiting restrictions because sometimes NCAA football makes this game too easy. And one way to do that is, like, for example, this guy doesn't have anybody going after him. 19 lock percentage. If you wanted to, you can just go after the guys that are low lock percentage and recruit whoever you want. It's not a guarantee that you'll get them, but it makes it easier, and I'm not going to do that. So here's what I'm going to do. For each season, we have big wins. Big wins are wins versus ranked teams and bowl games or conference championships. So we had 3 big wins last year versus ranked teams. We actually went 2-1 versus ranked teams, and then we had the bowl victory. So that's 3 big wins for us. So that means we get to recruit 3 4-star recruits. And until we're a 4-star prestige school, that restriction will be there. Then I'll kind of decide what our restriction will be for 5-star recruits because, like I said, I don't want to overdo it. I think I'm just going to make it so that, we are San Jose State. I think I'm just going to make it when we do get to a 4-star prestige, I want to make it so that I can probably only go up against or maybe go after 1 or 2 5-star recruits. And if I don't get them, I don't get them. And if I do, I do. I mean, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to have it so like I can't go after any, but I want to make it so that there's kind of a restriction. You can't go after every 5-star, or maybe just the ones in my state. I don't know what I'll decide. So heading into this season, we did not add another pipeline state. We attempted to with Arizona. I think that they're the closest state to being a pipeline, but right now California is our only pipeline. Just looking at the map here, a lot of our recruits are in California and Arizona. You see we have one in Hawaii as well, and then some sprinkled out on the East Coast as well. And playing an East Coast team like Syracuse will help us out in recruiting, and it's definitely going to need to be there because we do want to diversify our recruiting trips. So Knox definitely is our top running back recruit, but let's talk about somebody we highlighted last year. Jay Taylor out of San Jose, California. The Taylor family is very fond of San Jose State, and we highlighted him last year as a junior, and this year they changed the offense there at San Jose High School, and they put him in more of a power I type of system, and it kind of showed you a different side of him, is that he showed a little more strength. It is still negative for him. His pros are acceleration and elusiveness, but he's definitely going to be an all-around scat back. So maybe if we get Denzel Knox and Taylor, we could definitely have a formidable 1-2 punch in the future. He doesn't have the true breakaway speed, but he's got the acceleration to hit the hole like no other. And the guy I kind of compare him to is Dion Lewis, and he's gonna be a guy in on a lot of shotgun formations. He's gonna get in a lot of screen passes, just a lot of dump offs out of the backfield, angle routes, things like that. I'm actually really excited because if I have Jamal Taylor and Jay Taylor on the same team, and they have a little brother as well that's a junior, so we might have 3 Taylors on the same team at the same time, and that will actually be pretty special to see all 3 of those guys on the same team come 2 years from now. So let's shift our focus to a quarterback in Detroit, Michigan. Xander Murray, the number 52 rated quarterback in the nation. And I would say he's kind of a guy that, he has a few schools coming after him. So I don't know what type of shot we'll have with him, but he's just very intriguing. We went out to Michigan and saw him play, and he's pretty good. I mean, I can't lie, he's pretty good. He's one of the smarter quarterbacks that we've seen. He has a high awareness. He's pretty good in mobility, and he just has the leadership skills of a Drew Brees type of quarterback. He is kind of an all-around quarterback. He doesn't have the elite arm strength, but he does show the ability to make all throws with pretty good accuracy. I'd say he just needs to improve that arm strength and his deep accuracy as well. That will come with, you know, hitting the weight room and gaining some strength and adding some pounds to his frame. But I think he's a pretty good quarterback, and I don't think he's a true project, to be honest. I do think he would get the red shirt, but putting a project label on him is a little bit of a stretch because he's pretty well made right now, and I think that he's going to be a fantastic quarterback in the future. So I do want to talk about a couple of guys that might be blocking for these two in the future. Let's first start with Isaac Duenas in Salinas, California. He's 6'3", 330. I mean, he is a mammoth at the offensive line, and I think he's going to be more of a guard. He played tackle in high school, but I think he's just more of a mauler. We'll see. I think we have a true shot at him, and he's definitely going to be a guy that can improve the O-line, especially with the running game and the running backs coming in next year. Then probably my favorite offensive lineman is Donovan Taylor out of Fargo, North Dakota. And he's 6'8", 340. I mean, this guy is a mammoth. You can just see he just manhandles his competition at the high school level. And here's the thing, North Dakota doesn't have a great high school football system. And he kind of just dominates everybody he goes up against. He's a lot bigger. He just does everything for you. What's weird about him is that he is a run blocker. So I don't know if he's going to play tackle at the collegiate level, but I think he's just an intriguing guy. At that size, I mean, you could do anything with him. You can pull him. He's going to lead the way running on the outside. So maybe we will keep him at tackle. Maybe we won't. But he does display a lot of potential, and hopefully we can get him to commit to our school. So looking at the state of Nevada here, you can see their top three prospects, Chris Huston, and then as well as Bob Jackson and Steve Brown. So you see two quarterbacks there in the top three, but some guy that I just happened to stumble and go to a Nevada game, and I happened to just see him, and I was just blown away at this guy. I have no idea how he's not in the top three prospects, but let's check out Drayvon Jennings. So let's talk about the defensive side of the ball, and we kind of shift our focus to the East Coast once again. And I kind of want to highlight one of the guys on our board that probably has the highest ceiling of any defensive player, but he is kind of a project, and he is a higher recruited guy. He's a highly regarded guy. I would say that he's one of the fastest guys in the nation. Alexander Cooper. He's 5'10", the number 33 cornerback in the nation. He's only 175 pounds, so I think he's going to probably need a year of redshirting. He has elite speed though. That's the only thing that may keep him unredshirted, but if he does get a redshirt year just to develop a little bit, he does have good man coverage. I would say he's good in man, but everything else is kind of all over the place. I mean, he's not a great tackler. He doesn't have good zone coverage skills, and he doesn't recognize plays really well. But his athletic ability is keeping a lot of schools interested in him. He's definitely getting a lot of attention nationally, and I don't really know if we'll have a real shot at him, but he's worth keeping an eye on and just seeing if we do have a shot, because he is a 4-star prospect. Sticking at the quarterback position, we are looking at Ncaa Flores here. And here's the thing, he's from California. We have the proximity to home. He also might get early playing time. We have that. So, I mean, here's the thing. This guy is one of the smartest cornerbacks I've ever scouted out of high school. He is just a treat to watch because he always just makes the right play. And the thing about him is that he is kind of interested in our school. But here's the thing, he does need to work on his coverage. He's got great play recognition, and he's got great awareness. He is a great tackler, and he's been a captain on his high school team all 3 years. He's been a 3-year leader, so he's been starting since his sophomore year. He doesn't have the elite speed at all as well, but he just diagnoses plays. He's always making the right play, even sacrificing, his individual accolades for the sake of the team. He's not a big time prospect. He's not highly regarded in any team's scouting board, but here's the thing, he plays with a lot of grit, a lot of smart plays he makes, and I think that he's going to be an awesome prospect for us if we do get him to sign. So I want to talk about one of the most intriguing prospects on our board, Luther Bridges, and he's from Rancho Cucamonga, California. He's 6'6". I mean, he's a big guy, and I just like the potential in him. He makes the right play, and that's one thing that I've been trying to get with these prospects is that, I'm going to need to replace Ethan Aguayo. And Ethan Aguayo is one of the smartest defenders we have on our team. And how do we replace that? You replace it with smart guys from the high school level who have games that translate well to the college football game. And here's the thing, he doesn't have elite speed. He doesn't have a great pass rush move. He's a defensive end and an outside linebacker. But here's the thing, he just plays the game the right way. And he always makes the right play. He's 6'6", 285. He uses his size pretty well. He has good strength. But I do think he will need a redshirt year just to develop some of his pass rushing moves and his coverage skills. But we'll see coming into next year if we do get him to commit to our team. So let's look at our receiver depth here on our team. Matt Pollard is a freshman. He has definitely been a pretty good asset to our offense. He hasn't hit the ground running yet, but I think he has the potential definitely. Bailey Gaither is a senior. Jaquan Blackwell is a junior. He doesn't really get in too much. But then we have Carl Wolf and Trey Walker. Trey Walker is going to go into his senior year next year, but he does have 2 years left with us. Then we have Austin Lyles, who I don't really see as a guy that will get in too much. And then Jamal Taylor and Raheem Akusi are both freshmen, with Akusi being redshirted. So I definitely want to recruit at receiver. Unfortunately, there wasn't a ton of receivers available this year in recruiting, and that's kind of unfortunate because we wanted to build at the receiver position. But here's the thing, we did run into somebody that is pretty much a game changer on the offensive end at receiver, and I'm very excited if we do get him to commit to our school. Let's check out Eduardo Schaefer. So let's look at our full recruiting board, and for the first time I think ever in any season, I made 20 recruits and all of them didn't lock me out. So all 20 were available for recruiting, and that's definitely a rare thing. Usually you get like 1 or 2 or 3 guys that lock you out, especially if you make a lot of guys from different states, and that's what we did. And all of them actually made the board, so I'm actually pretty proud of that. I don't expect that to ever happen again though. But looking at our recruiting board this year, Drayvon Jennings is going to be our #1 recruit. And you can see his ratings here. 90 throw power, definitely our strongest arm I think we've ever recruited. And then at 80 speed, he's definitely got the mobility, but he does need to work on the accuracy, but I'm not really worried about that. At 6'6", 230, we can do a lot with him. And good news, he's a 3-star prospect, and he does want to come to our school. It looks like we're in the lead by 1,400. Now, Denzel Knox, he actually wants to come to our school. I did not expect this at all. He is the #8 halfback in the nation, and at 5'10", 214, he can do it all. He's got 88 speed, 90 acceleration. He's got some break tackle skills. I definitely think that's going to improve when he gets on campus. He also has a pretty good juke move at 88, has decent elusiveness, and I think that he will definitely boost this running game, as we have failed to have a guy over 100 yards so far in these 2 games. And we actually haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver, a 100-yard receiver as well. Looking at Jay Taylor actually was a 3-star prospect coming into this season, but then after his junior year, he's definitely boosted himself up to a 4-star recruit. 5'8", 175. We are first on his list, so he does want to play with his brother. And just looking at his ratings here, he's 94 acceleration, 86 speed, 90 elusiveness from him. So he's a shifty guy. He definitely doesn't have the strength, but he definitely is a guy that's going to be a threat in the passing game as well. So let's look at Alexander Cooper. I kind of said in the video before that, you know, during his highlights, he's a fast guy, 91 speed, 93 acceleration, but he's got to work on his coverage skills. He's not really great all around. He's got good man coverage right off the bat, but I don't think we're going to have a shot at him. We're behind by 1,000 right now, and it looks like, you know, there's 3 teams ahead of us. I just don't think we have a shot at getting him. Look at Coastal Carolina trying to get him, though. So looking at Eduardo Schaefer, we are actually in first for him, and he is a game changer at receiver. He's a 4-star recruit out of LA, 6'4", 200 pounds. He doesn't have the elite speed, but look at him. He's got 75 catching, 87 spectacular catch. He's definitely an outside threat, and he's definitely somebody we can throw the ball up to with 91 jumping. I think he can be a game changer for us on the receiving end. Look at this guy, Jermaine Billups. Now, you guys remember Frederick Billups from our Coastal Carolina Dynasty. This is actually his little brother. And one thing that drove this recruit is that Andre Armstead and Danny Armstead they do have a relationship with the Billups. So this definitely does help him in recruiting with coming to our school, but Washington looks like they're in the lead. He's from Portland, Oregon. He definitely has Washington on his mind. The projected cutoff is to cut us off, and he looks like he is full speed ahead to Washington, but we do want to keep him on the board and see what he has to offer for us. Looking at another receiver that's on our board from Athens, Georgia, our second Georgia recruit is Amari Atkins, 70 overall as a receiver. We have a lot of good guys on our board this year, and he comes in at 74 catching, 75 route running, 88 speed, so he has decent speed. I kind of, you know, coincidentally, he reminds me of Amari Cooper, and I think that he might be a pretty good prospect for us. And so Flores, we actually are in second for him, and we probably want to add some more points to him. And I'm thinking about taking them away from somebody like Alexander Cooper, because it looks like we just do not have a shot. It doesn't look like we're on his board at all. It doesn't look like he's considering us in his top 3. So I definitely want to shift some points over to Anto Flores and see if we can get him in first place. So let's shift our thoughts to offensive line here. Donovan Taylor, and he was a guy that I was excited about because of his run blocking. We actually haven't unlocked all of his ratings. You know what? Let's actually do that right now. I just don't think that Alexander Cooper is going to come I think that we're just too far behind, and it looks like he's on its way to Eastern Carolina anyway. So let's move him to 0, and let's unlock Donovan Taylor. Let's see what he's got, and let's see if he's worthy of a scholarship. So he goes up to 67 overall. He's got 80 run block, which is pretty good. 74 acceleration as well. I think he's a pretty good prospect. Let's add some points to him. Let's put the max on Ncaa Flores because I really want him. He's a pretty good corner here. He's got 80 play recognition. Definitely don't see that every day out of corners. And then let's put some more. Let's actually not put the max on Ncaa Flores. Let's put about, he's got 230 bonus. So I want to put 400 on him and then a little bit more on Donovan Taylor. So he's at 250. So let's look at Luther Bridges and his ratings here. He's 74 speed, 82 acceleration. Like I said, I thought he might need a year of redshirting. He does have low plate recognition at 53, but he is a decent tackler. He has decent acceleration as well. I think he's just an all-around guy that I think, could develop into something, so I do want to keep him on our board. So let's look at our first tight end, Jeffrey Stewart. He is 66 overall, and he is kind of a pass catching tight end at 80 catching. He definitely is very, very reliable, but he is being highly recruited out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are behind 2,000 points, and it looks like he's headed to East Carolina too. So East Carolina actually stealing a couple of our commits here, or a couple of our recruits. So Trayvon Polite is a middle linebacker that I definitely wanted in recruiting, but it just seemed like it was too high of a hill. Tennessee looks like they're in the lead, and it looks like they're going to get him. They have 280 bonus points, and on top of that, it's his top school, so I don't think that we're going to get him. So let's look at Alexander Murray. We are in second place for him, and he is kind of the backup plan at quarterback. He's our number 2 rated quarterback on our board, and like I said, he's an all-around quarterback, 82 throw power. Not great accuracy, not great speed, but he's good enough to be mobile, and I like him a lot, but we are in second. We do want to keep him on the board, and we do want to keep pursuing him just in case, because if we do have, a couple commits, we can probably, divvy up some more points his way. Looking at James Jackson Jr., a defensive end out of San Jose, California, and he's the number 80 defensive end. And what is most intriguing about him is that he will be our highest finesse move defensive end right away coming in. At 66 overall, he has great speed as a defensive end, 84 speed, 87 acceleration, and we definitely want to see if we can get him to commit to us. He is from San Jose. He is interested in us in Alabama. That's just pretty funny. In our second year, recruits are already considering us with teams like Alabama and Georgia. Isaac Duenas is that guard we did highlight. He plays tackle in high school, but coming over from Salinas, California, he has 80 run block, 81 acceleration. That's pretty good. Our first kicker, we don't have a kicker on our roster. We have one, but he doesn't even play because the punter is just way better, and I just don't see him playing at all. Mitchell Moore is kind of a power kicker. He has B kick power. We're not going to unlock anything until we have some more points, but I do want to keep him on the board. Now, let's talk about a guy, Tyler Boyd, and he's from Memphis, Tennessee, another East Coast cornerback. But look at him. He's just as good, if not better, than Alexander Cooper. He's got 83 man coverage, 91 speed, 91 acceleration. He's really, really good. I think he has low awareness. Maybe that's why he's only 66 overall. But let's add some points to him. I want to kind of move some points around on him and see what our potential is with getting him. Jabari Green is a guy that I think we missed out on. He's 6'4", 255 out of Vallejo, California. He's actually the number 18 middle linebacker, and middle linebackers actually go quick in recruiting. Other schools like to jump on top of that position, and it looks like Oregon is in first, and it doesn't look like we're even close. Jackson Coons is a tight end, 65 overall, and I think that he's just an all-around guy. He can block pretty well. He can catch pretty well. Nothing too great, but he's just an all-around guy that he probably will need a redshirt year. But we're behind 1,300. I just don't see I don't see any point of putting any points on him. And then Michael Pohau is a guy from Hawaii, our first Hawaii recruit, but it doesn't look like we're in the driver's seat for him as well. We are 2,000 points behind. He's 87% locked. I don't think we have a shot. So now let's talk about some non-custom recruits, and we will add more to our board. come the bye week, which is in a few weeks, Shane McBride is defensive tackle. I don't have many defensive tackles on my team right now. I have Caleb Oaks, and then we also have, Terrence Miller actually is a really good defensive end who can also play D tackle. Remember that last game that he had, just a monster 3-sack game. And I want to add some defensive tackles to the board. So we did add one from Arizona, Anthony Taylor. We don't really know what he's going to be as well because he is kind of a project. He's at 47 speed. I don't even know if we're going to keep him on the board. Chris Davidson is an athlete out of Arizona. We do want to add these athletes. He is a JUCO, so we will have him in as a junior. So I don't really know if he's worth going after. We're behind 1,000, and I just don't see it right now. Matt Givens actually has locked us out, and I don't know, it's because of the conference prestige. It's a deal breaker for him, so I just don't think we're going to keep him on the board. I'm pretty sure I'm going to remove him because we are locked out, so let's remove him. Let me know what you guys think of this recruiting class. I tried to get the best stories on here, and you guys went all out on a lot of these stories, so I'm glad to see the turnout with you guys submitting your recruits. So that's going to do it for the recruiting special. These tops, probably 10 prospects, are probably game changers on our board, and I think that Eduardo Schaefer, Jay Taylor, Denzel Knox, and Drayvon Jennings will be absolutely, they will probably make impacts as freshmen right away. I can't lie. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Next episode, we are hopping back into the gameplay, and we will have periodic updates for recruiting probably each week a little bit, and keeping you up to date on that, especially during the bye week. We'll show the players we add to the board. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.